I think all of us who were somewhat disappointed by the announcement made by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman over the first 2 days will be quite excited today, because there is no doubt that today's moves or today's the announcements she made were not just about spending rupees X amount on various things. They were genuine reforms of the type that the Prime Minister promised when he made his announcement of a 20 lakh crore stimulus. For the last, I think, 70 years now, almost anybody who's talked about agriculture in India has talked about the importance of bringing in market reform. And market reform is something which has never ever happened in the country so far. So the Prime Minister has done three things essentially when it comes to this. The first thing he has done is that he has diluted to a large extent the Essential Commodities Act. Now, the Essential Commodities Act, I mean, you'll recall, is what allowed the government to essentially, whenever the prices went up of, let's say, of wheat or rice or potatoes or tomatoes or anything, the government would start, catching hold of the people who bought these things, the traders, the processors. They would raid them, they would force them to sell their commodities, and all this was done supposedly to keep the prices low. So what the finance minister has said today is that we will look at bringing in the Essential Commodities Act only if there's a great calamity, like let's say there's a famine or something like this. So this is a very big relief for farmers. And she has said that as far as the processors are concerned, so let's say that, somebody who's making bread, if that person has a lot of wheat, there is no question of ever raiding that person and saying that, you better dump your stock. So this is a very, very big move in terms of freeing up the industry. In fact, we've seen comments already, on television of a few agricultural processors welcoming the move. The other big move that she's done that the Prime Minister has done and the Finance Minister announced today was that the government has said that they will remove interstate barriers on agricultural commodity trading. So what happens right now is that a lot of state governments from time to time, somebody will say, I will not allow you to take potatoes out. So let's say in one state, the price of potatoes are rising. So the chief minister will say, I'm sorry, but you cannot sell potatoes from my state to another state. It doesn't matter whether you get a higher price in that other state. Similarly for wheat and rice and things like that. So I think the finance minister is very, very categorical when it came to this, because what she said was, in no other commodity, in the manufacturing, for example, you don't ever tell a producer that you can sell only to these people. A Maruti Udyog can sell his car to anybody, So whereas when you say that you can sell only within the state, then you're restricting the farmer to a certain lot of buyers. So that's very, very big. I think the third thing, the finance minister never used the term contract farming, because how some of these things are very sensitive in India. But what she said was that if in the pre-planting stage, the farmer has some certainty as to what his income will be, then the farmer is that much better off. And she said we are coming up with a legal framework for that. So essentially what that means is that now, a big processor or, a big retailer, let's say a Walmart or somebody like that, can actually enter into contract with farmers and say, okay, I'm going to buy all your wheat at this price, or I'm going to buy all your tomatoes at this price. So, so these are very, very big marketing reforms the government has done. I think, in a sense, people will argue that, but these are reforms that could have been done 6 years ago. Well, to that extent, Mr. Modi has been late by 6 years, but there are also reforms which could have been done 10 years ago. There are reforms which could have been done 15 years ago. I think the important thing is that the Prime Minister, and that is what the sum and substance of what he said, the Prime Minister has felt that, listen, we are losing an opportunity. And because India is losing an opportunity, the farmers, the people who produce here, the laborers are losing an opportunity. So I think the Prime Minister realized that it is marketing reforms that are very, very critical, and that is what he has done. We saw this in agriculture today. Hopefully over the next 2-3 days, we'll see this in other areas as well.